lots of content there. Okay, so we've heard this before, multiple times before, that the city of Seattle, via Ann Davison, the Seattle city attorney, she is going to take on the taggers. Although, always when talking about the graffiti, they like to throw in the prolific taggers, which, they point out there are a few prolific graffiti vandals who are responsible for a disproportionate amount of the graffiti that we see in the city of Seattle. And so she's saying, I'm going after these people with everything we have. We're using the new graffiti ordinance against, for example, 3 prolific taggers, trying to get $40,000 in civil penalties and restitution. They have these taggers been identified by Seattle police, according to Como, as Allure, Labrat, and Nomus. There was, I'm not going to lie, about a week and a half where I presumed Jackson was Labrat. I thought he was responsible. He's always like doodling weird gang-related symbols on his notebooks at his desk. But you've been cleared as evidenced by these charges.
And I don't have an artistic bone in my body.
I didn't say it was good.
That's true.
I just said it was just like weird doodling. And they're accused of causing thousands of dollars in damage to private and public property. Speaking to Como, Ann Davison says, look, we've got a bigger problem with graffiti here than a lot of other cities of our size.
Because it is millions of dollars in damage that the taxpayers have to pay. Law now says I can civilly sue them and hold them accountable and say they need to pay for that cost to clean that up, or they can come and clean it up themselves. We clearly see it. We know we have an issue. You go to other cities and it's really not the same amount.
It's not the same amount. And that's mostly true, I think. I mean, obviously it kind of depends on where you go. But when you go to bigger cities or size similar to Seattle, it's not quite as bad. You still see it, but it's really bad here. Like, it is really bad here. And it's not just, by the way, a Seattle issue. Get on any freeway, you see a ton of it somehow. But this law, she says, is a game changer to actually, not only collect damages, but send a message that we're not going to put up with this anymore.
They are not welcome to come and do this in the city of Seattle.
What effect do you think this lawsuit is going to have on the overall issue of graffiti tagging?
I think it will start to change the reputation we have on the street, that you can come here and just do things unchecked. We will hold people accountable. I will hold people accountable.
I mean, you really can do things here unchecked, in fairness. And I've said this before, I totally get why bad guys come to Seattle to do bad things. It's because generally they don't get punished. And as much as I can appreciate Ann Davison in this endeavor, a part of me says, yeah, good luck collecting that $40,000 from those 3 taggers. I mean, I just don't know if that's going to happen. And frankly, if you're doing tens of thousands or even more worth of damage to property, I'm okay with you going to jail. Is that crazy that I think someone who is causing significant damage due to repeated graffiti offenses deserves some time in jail? I don't need to throw the person in there for years, but maybe a few weeks to a few months until they figure out. That to me is a disincentive. $40,000, I don't even know who these people are, but let's just, for the sake of argument, say all 3 of them come from wealthy families, that these are just privileged punk kids. What do they care? $40,000. They're not going to be impacted by it. And on the other hand, what if they don't have that kind of money anyway? They're just poor losers who just commit crimes all the time. Like, I don't understand how you're going to end up collecting. I like the message, and I think you should collect what you can. I'd rather see them actually go to jail. Or is that we can't do that? The carceral system is yet another remnant of white supremacy culture. And taggers are disproportionately members of communities of color and the disabled. And their socioeconomic status is low. Like, they always throw out these the buzzwords to try to get out of any kind of punishment. I'm good. Let's just punish. Punish away. You know what we don't do enough of? Say punish.
Punish.
Exactly. Did you hear that speaking of prolific offenders, despite the suspect in that Macklemore theft having a significant criminal history for burglary and assault, he has been released from jail with a this is almost a joke, electronic home monitoring device on his ankle, which he's accused of previously cutting off. And yet the judge was all like, "Oh no, this time I think it's fine. This time he'll follow the rules."
I mean, that's basically what he said.
It is what he said. That is literally what he said. And so Chris Daniels with the weird voice and the unfitted suits, spoke with kind of like an activist King County Superior Court judge, Ketu Shah. He tried to explain this decision. Listen to this.
The prosecution had asked for $500,000 bail, and yet he was sent home on a $50,000 bail with an ankle monitor. What's the thought process there?
The judge is looking at the factors of the circumstances of the case, what's alleged to have occurred. Also,
you don't have to tell us that part. We know that.
It's a lot of word
okay?
salad.
It's just we know. So he's looking at just as a matter of fact, just assume everyone knows that the judge is looking at the circumstances of the case and then just jump off from there. Or, Chris, why don't you cut that part out of the interview?
so looking at when the incidents alleged to have occurred.
He's accused by the prosecutors of being a danger to society, a violent man who shows no remorse.
You know, it's always hard. I think the court is balancing individual rights and the safety of the community.
In a certain respect, it doesn't make sense that he was allowed to go in and out of custody and then go home on a home ankle monitor.
Well, I think there's always the hope that people have the capacity to change their behavior.
How many times do you give them the opportunity to change the behavior before you say they're not going to change their behavior? I'm just kind of curious about this. And I'm grateful that this judge said that, because it's not like he's making that up. That's precisely what the judges think. Oh, no, this time will be the time that they don't, assault someone. This time will be the time they don't rob someone. This time will be the time they don't murder someone. That's how judges think, and they don't look at the totality of the person's background. That part is a lie. They're supposed to, and we should expect them to, but they don't. I mean, the reality is they look at a situation, they say, this person checks some boxes, low income, community of color, single parent household, whatever it is. They look at all these different things, and internally they give them a score. And based on that score that they've internally decided, they will say, I'm going to give this person a break. I'm gonna release this person and play savior to these people who are really they're the real victims. It's not Macklemore, or what was it, his housekeeper or something, who had a gun pointed to her head, if I recall correctly. Like, oh no, it's not. They're privileged. Don't worry, Macklemore will pay for the staff members' therapy. Macklemore could afford to lose some of this, so he's fine. And if anything, he'll go collect his goods from a thrift shop because he can afford it. See what I did there? Full circle. I'm a judge who's cool. No, except you're not cool. You're kind of annoying. You're kind of perverting what the law is supposed to be. And in this piece, by the way, they cite Criminal Rule 3.2. I want, if anything you get out of these segments, remember Criminal Rule 3.2, just that phrase. If any judge says that the reason why they went easy on a bad guy is because of that, just say they're lying to you and you know the rule. Because what it says is that you have to assume, obviously, that the person is innocent until proven guilty, and you have to err on the side of release, not jail. And that's fine. But a piece of 3.2 also says you have to take into consideration whether or not they're a threat to the community or a risk to not come back to the court. And dare I say, when you've got a long criminal history of the same kind of crimes and you've been charged before and caught before, that's the history that matters and indicates you're not going to this time be the good guy afterwards. Otherwise, it was a wonderful argument, and I'm now moved. We should just release all bad guys. All of them. But remember, when I say, Seattle's saying they're going to go after the graffiti artists, You're going to get a judge who looks at this and says, it seems kind of harsh. 40 grand you're going to try to get out of these. This was just unsolicited creative expression. That's all it was. You mean the gang graffiti that cost $10,000 to take down? Oh, okay, yeah. Unsolicited creative expression. You mean vandalism? Or creative vandalism? Is that what we're calling it? And if you remember, that language I'm using, unsolicited creative expression, came from a city council member at the time, who's now a county council member in King County, Teresa Mosqueda. I didn't make that up. It sounds parody, right? It sounds like something you would make fun of, and in
like the Babylon Bee or
Babylon Bee
something.
would do that, right? Nope. That's language coming from the left.
We don't want to be the fun police, like
I
the
know.
mayor in Footloose.
Jeez. All they want to do is dance. They're just trying to express themselves. Yeah, okay. Yeah, thanks. If they were dancing, it wouldn't be a problem. Well, I don't like the dance mobs. Those are annoying.